I have got to have music in the shop when I'm working, or I'm not going to be able to work very long. The problem with providing music in the shop is I got dust all over the place. Dust gets into a radio or a CD player or an MP3 player, and pretty soon that device is kaput, not going to last very long. The answer to that are job site radios like this one that I'm looking at here from Bosch. This is a new product, and Bosch has really put a lot of thought into this. They got a lot going on. What I want to do here is walk you through this new product from Bosch, tell you what it's all about. What I'm specifically looking at here is Bosch's PB360S. Can't wait to tell you more about it. Here on the front of the unit, you've got very standard radio type controls. I've got a volume setting. I can change the channel over here. It's a digital tuner, which is a very good way to capture the radio signals, make sure they come in nice and clear for you. On this side of the radio, we've got a 4-way outlet, so I can plug other devices into this once the radio itself is plugged in. Now the thing to be aware of there is that the combined amperage draw of the 4 items that are here is 10 amps. So you got to be a little bit careful about running more than one thing at a time. This doesn't substitute for having just a heavy-duty extension cord in your shop or on a job site. Now spin around to the other side. This is where the cool stuff really starts to hit. I've got a media bay over here. I'm going to come back and talk more about this. This is going to let us use MP3 players, all sorts of different devices to provide input for the radio itself. On the back, we've got a charging bay. Now here, there are specific Bosch batteries, lithium batteries, that I can put in here. It'll charge the batteries for you, so in your shop or on a job site, you could use this as a big battery charger. Additionally, once the batteries are charged, I can unplug this and I can run off of those batteries, so that lets me take this places where I don't have electricity. Now let's come back and have a look at exactly what is provided on the media bay side of this thing. Here on the media bay, this is where the technology gets a chance to enter into the radio. So a couple things going on here. Up here, I've got an auxiliary in, so I could plug a device, a CD player, an MP3 player, into this port in order to let sound come in. You could use that as a PA. You could put a microphone in here, use the whole unit as a PA. Here in the center is a 12-volt DC charger. So in my case, I've got a Bluetooth with a car charger for it. So the Bluetooth can go in there. That'll keep that charged up for you. On the other side, on the media bay side of this thing, I've got line out. So on that side, what I can do is open that up, plug into it. Now I could feed this to external speakers. So speakers on this thing are great, but I can also send the sound to another set of speakers. Worked out nice for me in my shop because the shop is wired for speakers. That lets me drive the sound to those speakers I've already got in place. Now there's more going on behind the door here too. Now, remember, one of the things we're concerned about is dust and debris getting into our electronic stuff. Behind the door here, we've got lots more options. On this side is a USB port. I can do a couple things with this. I can have songs on a flash drive like this. Once that's plugged in, I can play the songs back through the radio. Additionally, for devices like cell phones that charge via USB, most devices, according to Bosch, will charge off of that USB plug. Now, I can also have music on an SD card like this. The SD card plugs in over on this side. Now, what's neat about the USB and the SD is that I can control the music playability from the front of the radio. So once those are in, I can fast forward, I can skip songs, I can continuously loop. You won't be able to do that with things that you've plugged into the auxiliary feeds. Here inside the media bay, behind the door, there's a cradle, and in that cradle I can put my playback device, so that's going to hold it nice and securely. That's run into another auxiliary feed. Now keep in mind that when I'm plugged in like this, or up here, I'm not going to be able to control this through the radio itself. You have to control the device. Now what's cool about this is that, according to Bosch, once I've got that door closed, my stuff inside there is weather tight and dust proof. It's very well protected from the elements, from all that fine dust you normally make in your shop. Now that takes care of the media bay. Let's go back and have a look at a couple more features that the radio has to offer. Bosch put 4 speakers on this unit, one on each corner. plus subwoofer at the bottom. So a lot of radios, speakers on one side, throw the sound in one direction. The idea with this, the 360, is that sound is coming off in a big ball, 360 degrees around the radio. It's got a roll cage on it, that's to protect the radio. Now, something that's important to understand is that the outlets here on the side are hot as long as the whole radio is plugged in. There is not an inverter in here that's going to convert power from batteries you've charged to AC power over here. A couple different models are going to be available. This is the 360S that we've been looking at. There'll also be a 360D with some feature changes. On the 360D, these outlets will be GFCI, so you're going to have ground fault protection. It'll also come with a remote, which according to Bosch, will let you control the radio from about 40 feet away. The 360D will also have a Sirius satellite dock on it, so you could pump satellite radio through it. All those upgrades mean the 360D is going to cost a little bit more than the 360S. End of the day, what do I think about this? Overall, I love this radio. No CD player on it, but there are so many means of pumping music into this thing, I don't think a CD player is necessary. Everybody these days is burning music onto different things, USBs and SDs and phones and MP3 players, and we can take all of that here. I do wish that there was a way to use this as an inverter and at least get a little bit of power off of those batteries I charged, maybe just enough to drive a laptop or something out here. That'd be a really cool feature. I really like the fact that the line out lets me go to my own speakers. These speakers are great. They'll just about rattle the glass out of the windows in my shop. But since I'm already wired for speakers, I appreciate the fact that they let me send this line to my speakers that are already in place. I think really what they've got here is it's more than a radio, it's almost a media center. I can come out to the shop, I can plug a laptop in over here, I can make sure I'm keeping my cell phone and my Bluetooth charged, and I can listen to my all-important music. So it really is kind of one-stop shopping for electronic stuff that I'm frequently using in the shop these days. Couple all that with peace of mind that comes from, I've got some weatherproofness here. Now that's not a big deal. It doesn't rain in my shop too often, but I've got dustproofness. So when I take those expensive electronic devices and tuck them behind the door in the media bay, they're pretty well protected. So overall, what I think is, I think Bosch did a real nice job on this design, and I think they've come up with a real nice product here.